JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 6th of August 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of the charts that we looked at this morning just to see how everything's kind of getting along. But yeah, as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, let's jump into the charts. So the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. To be honest, not much is happening here. However, basically we still stick to the same idea, and that in order to aim for some higher levels, we need to see that good break, excuse me, a break above the 12,773 territory in order to aim for some higher levels. Until then, we're not really doing anything because, to be honest, the index is not really doing anything. So in a way, like I said, let's wait for a clear break and a daily close above this area, above the 12,773 territory, and then we could aim for some slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, we need to see a drop below the low of the 30th of July in order to kind of consider maybe some downside, because a drop below this level would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and slightly lower levels could be met here. But first of all, of course, let's get rid of this downside line as well here. It's a little bit in the way already, so the index is kind of moving further to the right, so that's why we're no longer going to keep an eye on that downside line. So that's why it's going to be mainly this level here, the 12,254 zone. Like I said, the low of the 30th of July, at a drop below that would confirm a forthcoming lower low. Initially, we'll target the 200-day EMA, the 11,957 zone. Which is marked by the low of the 25th of June, and then if that fails to provide support, then further declines could be possible. Now jumping into another index, and this one is the Nasdaq 100. So the index here created a new all-time high. So let me just grab this line and put it right here. So the index created a new all-time high yesterday, hitting the 11,140. Let's round it up to a 42 zone. And if we look at the cash index right now, for example, we can see that the price is currently at around 11,107, 108 territory. So basically just below below yesterday's close. So in a way, kind of, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that this is where the reversal could happen, but if we see a drop below the 11,000 territory right here, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. If it gets pushed above the 11,141 territory, then yes, we will aim for some higher levels, because such a move would confirm a forthcoming higher high and more buyers could be joining in. For now, it's a very tricky one. Similar story like with gold, to which I will get to. Basically, we need to see clear breaks above these all-time highs first before, let's say, aiming for some higher levels. Then still we need to remain careful, because don't get me wrong, what could happen here, for example, the type of reversal we could get would be it could go for another all-time high, but then at the end of the day, it could reverse sharply to the downside, closing in the red, and that's how the kind of the reversal could happen. But again, a bit of speculation here. We have seen something like that in the past. So for example, here where like on the 10th and the 11th and the 13th of July. So on the 13th of July, the index traveled higher, created a new all-time high, but as you can see, it still closed the candle in the red, and well, this is where it led to a bit of a larger correction. So that's why keep this idea in your heads. Now jumping into another index, and this one is the dollar index. Quick refresh. This morning I talked about this index, and excuse me, and basically what I was saying, that keep your eyes on the 92.55 territory, which, as you can see, continues to provide decent support. So in a way, for us to kind of, let's say, consider lower areas, we need to see a nice good daily close below that zone, below that 92.55 area. If we do get something like that, then yep, further declines could be possible. But for now, as you can see, well, the DXY is kind of struggling with this area. Now, what I've mentioned this morning was as well that in a way, if this continues to provide decent support and we see the index moving back up here and breaking this 93.81 zone, now this is where we will aim for some slightly higher levels. But in addition to that, this would kind of form a nice double bottom pattern here with a neckline around here, around this 93.81 zone. So basically everything would come in nicely. So but for that, we need to see a stronger reversal here from this 92.55 zone. For now, we cannot really talk about any upside yet until we get a push back above the 93.81 zone, and then we'll aim for a bit of a larger correction here. Now, jumping into gold, and gold is unstoppable. This morning I told you guys to keep an eye on the previous high, which was the 2055 territory, and this morning it was, when I was covering gold, it was still the all-time high. Now gold is creating a new high, and this is what I was saying in the beginning of this week, that in a way gold could continue pushing further north. It could actually even go all the way towards that 2100 level. So basically, if you're trying to short this one, don't, because it is still on a rally to the upside. So although yes, we are in this uncharted territory, it's still kind of it's difficult to find that resistance level, and that's kind of the reason why as well that wait for a confirmation. We need a confirmation reversal that there could be a bit of a larger correction to the downside. But again, until we're not seeing that yet, it keeps on pushing higher. So yeah, that's why, guys, for now it's a one-way traffic, so be very, very careful. Let's see how far can this go, but one of the interesting levels to keep an eye on would be probably 2100 level. But again, at this point in time, because these are all these are new all-time highs, this is uncharted territory, so that's why it's a little bit difficult to find that good ceiling for this commodity. Bitcoin Cash, so here the crypto is trying to make its way higher here. However, it's still not far from the upper side of the range here where it was trading in previously. Now it's acting as a very nice area of support. As I've mentioned before when I was covering Bitcoin Cash, that in a way we'll start looking at some higher levels if we get a push above the 322 territory. If we until then, we're just going to remain neutral and just continue observing the price action. If the price somehow falls back below the 280 zone here and closes the daily candle below it, a daily candle below it, then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. US dollar against the Japanese yen. So as I've talked about this pair in the beginning of this week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 105.94 territory, which, as you can see, continues to act as a very nice area of resistance. So initially on Monday we had a nice push higher. It did climb to this level here. But as you can see, this is the arrow from the beginning of this week. Basically, this 106.48 zone. I talked about this one, and basically what I was saying, that we need to see a clear break above that, and then we could aim for some, let's say, slightly higher levels up until this downside line. But we didn't get a break above that. We just got a test of this area, and as you can see, this is what happened. The pair reversed sharply to the downside and kind of even closed the daily candle below the 105.94 territory. So this is the result that we're having right now. It is kind of drifting lower. So at this point in time here, in a way, it could drift a little bit more to the downside. Maybe it could test the area somewhere around, not around this level, but around this inside swing high, which, as you can see, actually yesterday it already tested that area, and that area is roughly around the 105.30 zone, so approximately around there. Now you can see that this is kind of acting as a bit of a good support zone. Now, another thing that probably some of you are looking at here is a potential bullish flag. We do have a nice pole here. This one, the last Friday's acceleration here, and now this week we're seeing this a little kind of correction here. So in a way, there is a chance for this one to push higher. However, probably keep your eyes on the DXY as well, and if it makes its way higher here, then yep, good chance, well, not good chance, but most likely this will move to the upside as well, unless the equity markets start sharply declining, and everybody will be jumping into the Japanese yen instead of the US dollar. So again, for now, this is a battle of the two safe havens. So yep, it will be quite interesting to see where this could go. But again, from the technical side, keep your eyes on these levels. So on the upside, the 106.48 zone, a break of that one we need in order to aim for some slightly higher levels. And in terms of the downside, 104.52 territory, drop below that could do the trick for more sellers. GBP USD, so this one is making its way higher, and yep, everything's kind of working out nicely. This is just a quick update on what I was talking about this morning. Our main target was or should I say, is still the 1.32 zone, which is the highest point of March, near the highest point of March. But if that gets broken, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible. So keep your eyes on this one. And now, in case this pair suddenly starts dropping below the 1.3035 territory right here, which is the inside swing low of the 9th of March, then we could aim for a bit of a larger correction to the downside up until this short-term upside support line taken from the low, the 30th of June. Now, the interesting one probably that's in the news, has been in the news lately, now that's the Turkish lira, which is heavily depreciating against its European counterpart. And this week I told you guys to keep an eye on this, actually yesterday I told you guys to keep an eye on this barrier, the 8.3015 zone, which if gets broken could lead to some higher levels. And this is exactly what happened. We not only got a break here, but we got a daily candle staying above this area. And yep, as you can see, this is the result we're having. This is the huge spike that we saw this well, not this morning, but today in general. And you can see that the pair reached its all-time high near the 8.6550 territory. So it hit that area, and you can see that we're seeing a bit of a retracement here. Now, the big question here is, will it go to 9? Again, it's a bit of a difficult one because we are in the uncharted territory. If we're talking from the psychological side, it could be a nice level to test. However, like I said, let's keep it the same as with NASDAQ and gold that I've mentioned, that let's go step by step. If we get a break above the 8.6550 territory, then yes, we will aim for some higher levels. But if it struggles now, for example, to move above this area, then this could be that nice area of resistance that we were looking for, from where maybe the pair could reverse back down. But again, it's a bit of a difficult one right now, so it's probably if you're looking for a short here, it is probably not yet, because we need that confirmation. We we don't have a confirmation yet. So yeah, for now, let's wait for that one. And let's say if tomorrow, if the pair struggles to push above the 8.6550 territory, then yes, maybe a bit of a correction to the downside here could be possible. And finally, Euro USD. So this pair is finding very good resistance here today near the 1.1909. This is what I was talking about this morning, that if the pair fails to move above this area and fails to, let's say, close a daily candle above it and reverses back down, we could be getting ourselves a bit of a range here. So for now, we're going to keep this idea in our heads. And yep, for now probably we'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, because even to consider, let's say, the downside, or should I say larger corrections to the downside, we would need to see a drop below the 1.1725 zone, because again, we want to be on the safe side. Here, for example, the pair could kind of move sideways here, even without testing the ideally kind of testing these sides, so it could move around here a little bit, but that's why we will wait for either a break above the 1.1909 in order to aim for some higher levels, or a drop below the 1.1725 territory in order to consider maybe a bit of a correction here towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of May. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to catch my video tomorrow, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.